New at 11, it's being called an epidemic. Teen e-cigarette use skyrocketing 78% in just the last year across the country.
Our 10 News anchor Brian Schlonsky talked to experts about how to keep your kids safe, and he also crunched the data to see which San Diego school districts are most at risk.
I was a smoker back from high school all the way till my first daughter was born.
Scott Morinoe says his daughter's birth made him quit cigarettes for good, but to quit, he took up vaping.
Like everyone vapes, there's no restrictions because it's easy to hide.
Then came an unrelated but life-changing diagnosis. His daughter had developed a rare type of childhood cancer. She was beating it, but wanted an assurance from her father.
If her scans are clear, I would quit vaping. I made a promise to her. And I didn't stop.
As it turns out, it's not just adults getting hooked. According to the Centers for Disease Control, e-cigarette use among high schoolers has jumped by 78% in just the last year. It's up 48% among middle schoolers.
It's now the fastest growing substance use issue among that population. We had the highest jump of any year from 2017 to 2018. Of any substance ever.
Dr. Brian Cooey is an addiction treatment specialist at the Betty Ford Center. He says part of the problem, the e-cigarette industry is specifically targeting younger populations.
So there's a perception that it's harmless. It's an experiment that's happening on them because we don't have the data that we do with cigarette use.
He says to make matters worse, the devices can be hard to spot. Some look like USB drives, even pens, and instead of a strong odor like cigarettes, some flavors smell like candy or nothing at all. On top of that, Cooey says nicotine levels can be much more potent than cigarettes.
It's very challenging for people in general to stop vaping, that it's a public health issue.
The government agrees. The U.S. Surgeon General has declared e-cigarette use among young people an epidemic. According to the California Department of Education, the state average of 11th graders who vape is 10%. We crunched the numbers for specific San Diego school districts. Coronado, Carlsbad, and San Dieguito were all much higher than the state average at 17, 19, and 23% respectively. Morinoe, who has now quit all types of tobacco, says the data makes him uneasy as his daughters get closer to middle school age.
Nervous and scared, and I want to talk to them about vaping, about how dangerous it is, about how little research there is.
Brian Schlonsky, 10 News.
We reached out to the school districts with the highest number of students who reportedly vape and asked how they're cracking down. We heard back from San Dieguito and Coronado. Coronado says the number of kids that they've disciplined for vaping has gone down in the past year from 24 to 14. Part of the discipline for those students reading articles about the health risks.